How much water? The second question is what kind of water? And that we want to be clear-cut about that. So, first of all, the kind of water. And there's a lot of controversy. I always like to get a little bit controversial. So
I like it.
The kind of water that I recommend would be steam distilled water.
Steamed distilled water.
Yes, and
Okay.
there's a few very important reasons for that. Now, the critics say, how can you recommend steam distilled water? It has no minerals.
That's the common thing that almost anybody,
Yeah.
when you tell them that
Yeah.
it's got no minerals, it's got no elements in
nutritional
it, no
value.
nutritional value.
Well, but I answer is that I don't want minerals in the water for a few reasons. Number one, I cannot absorb minerals out of water. The body absorbs less than 5% of inorganic minerals out of water. For a mineral to be absorbed in the body, it needs to be bound in organic form, meaning to be bound to carbon. So it has to go into that plant sugar that we talked about earlier.
Right.
So when I grow the plants properly and the sugar content goes high, the mineral content goes high, and that's how the minerals are to get into my body, because the sugar mineral has the energy to absorb it. In water, it makes the water simply a dry water. And there we can look at what we call surface tension of water. If I look at drops forming on a windscreen, the larger the drops that forms, the higher the surface tension.
Yes.
And if it has a high surface tension, it means it is a lot of dissolved particles in the water. And that's usually a sign of polluted rain. If the rain is really polluted, it'll have a lot of dissolved toxins, from the environment,
Right.
and the surface tension is very high.
Sticks to the
It
surface.
sticks to the surface. It doesn't want to splatter.
Right.
Now, if I drink water, that's a mineral water, that's high content minerals, it makes the water a dry water. My liver cannot properly absorb it because the surface tension is too high. It doesn't hydrate my system. The purpose of water is hydration,
Right.
not mineral deliverance.
Right.
So it doesn't hydrate properly because the surface tension is too high. So there's something we can measure in water called resistivity. It's the resistance against the flow of electricity, and it's measured in milliohms. So if I take a mineral water, I get a reading of 50 milliohms. If I take a distilled water, I get 9,000 milliohms. So it's a huge
difference.
And that is the difference. That is the hydration factor. That is the factor by which it will hydrate my body so much more efficiently. One of the guys that found this out the hard way was Thomas Edison, the guy that designed the light bulb.
The light bulb, yeah.
He had severe osteoarthritis, joint discomfort, and he started drinking distilled water, and it disappeared. And the rest of his life, he would recommend distilled water because the distilled water, it has to do with the osmotic flows within the joints. So if you use the correct amount of distilled water, you have the correct lubrication in your joints.
Wow,
If
that's
the
amazing.
salts become too high,
It-
it pulls the lubrication out of the joints
Right.
into the interstitial fluids, and the joint become dry.
tight, yeah.
And you get osteoarthritis, which is not a disease, it's more of a deterioration going backwards of the condition. It's a deterioration of the joint.
Right.
So distilled water, you can drink too much of any kind of water.
Sure.
And normally the way we calculate, and I use the American weight because Dr. Reeves is an American, so he said take the weight in pounds, divide by 2, and that's the ounces. That's just a rough calculation,
guide, yeah.
depending on the particular person's salt production,
Right.
which we can test. But say, for instance, the guy's 220 pounds.
So that's about 100 kilograms.
He's going
more
to
or
drink
less.
110 ounces.
Right.
And an ounce is roughly 30 mils.
Right.
That's going to be 3.3 liters a day, but that's a huge guy,
That's a huge guy.
You can't give
100
us-
kilograms, 3.3 liters.
Liters.
That makes sense.
Exactly. You can't give that to a 50 kilogram lady.
Right. She would need half of that, essentially.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that you have to calculate. Also, we want to space the water out. We don't want to drink a huge amount of water at one time, and not any for the rest of the day, because you're going to over dilute yourself, and then you're going to be dehydrated for the rest of the day. So you normally we say at least hourly.
Right.
So divide it at least into hourly portions and drink it throughout the day.
So you have to be thinking the whole time.
Yeah.